All right, let's dive right into a concept from the Sentient-Field hypothesis that is genuinely mind-bending. It kicks off with an idea that pretty much flips everything we think we know about reality on its head.
So, let's just start with a bombshell, shall we? Everything you've been taught about atoms, quarks, all the little bits and pieces being the bedrock of the universe, well, this hypothesis says that's not just the wrong answer, it's the wrong question to begin with.
And there it is, the core idea, that the universe isn't built, it's woven. And the thread it's woven from is consciousness itself, raw experience. Now, to even begin to get our heads around that, we need a really powerful analogy from the world of mathematics. So, we're going to look at the fabric of space-time using this incredible mathematical tool called a principal fiber bundle. I know, it sounds super complicated, but the basic idea is actually something you can really wrap your mind around. Okay, stick with me here. Imagine our entire reality is this giant, incredibly detailed carpet. The part we walk on, the part we see and touch and live in every day, that's just the flat surface. But what gives a carpet its character, its color, its texture, its depth? It's all in the yarn, in the hidden loops that make up the surface. So this cosmic carpet of ours really has two fundamental parts. You've got the part we can see, and then you've got the hidden part that gives the visible world all of its amazing properties. Let's break that down a little. Okay, this is where it gets really cool. On one hand, you have the base space. Think of it like the stage. It's our familiar 4D space-time, the flat surface of that carpet we were talking about. But here's the twist. At every single point on that stage, there's a fiber. This is the actor. It's a hidden internal dimension of pure sentient potential. These are the tiny loops of yarn that give the whole carpet its color and its richness. All right, so if reality is being woven on some kind of cosmic loom, you'd expect there to be rules, right? A pattern. Well, the Sentience-Field hypothesis, or SFH, boils it down to three fundamental rules, or axioms. First, and this is the big one, sentience comes first. It's not some random accident. It's the fundamental fiber that everything else is made of. Second, the universe doesn't have an infinite amount of this thread. There's a limited budget of potential experience, a finite number of loops it gets to work with. And third, and this is just fascinatingly specific, the whole structure has to periodically rethread itself, kind of like a self-repairing loom, to keep it all from falling apart. And that brings us to this wild, specific number, 10 to the power of 24. The hypothesis suggests this is a fundamental constant, like the speed of light. It's the breaking point where the fabric of reality has to reset, to reweave itself, to keep the whole pattern coherent. It's a hint that the universe might be running on some kind of deep, cosmic software. Okay, so we've got this fabric woven from sentience. So what? What does that actually mean for us, for the world we see? How does this idea build things like matter, particles, and even our own perception of the world?
Yeah, this is the big question, right? If it's all just sentient potential, where do solid things, things like electrons and planets and coffee cups come from?
Well, the answer is just so elegant. A particle isn't a tiny little ball of stuff. It's a pattern, a specific stable twist in that hidden fiber of sentience. It's more like a knot in the yarn of that cosmic carpet than a marble sitting on top of it. It's a vibration, a resonance. And here's the kicker. We never actually see the fiber itself. We don't see the knot. We only experience its three-dimensional shadow, projected onto our space-time. This could be an amazing explanation for why quantum physics is so weird. We're trying to make sense of a higher dimensional object by only looking at its shadow. So how does this all happen? The hypothesis actually gives us a formal 6-step process. Think of it as the universe's own knitting pattern for creating reality from this sentient field. Now, this might look a little intimidating, but the logic is actually pretty straightforward. Let's just walk through it. It all starts with that finite budget of experience. Step 1. Then, step 2, that potential gets divided up into all the individual fibers. Steps 3 and 4 lay down the rules for how those fibers can connect and interact, creating tension and variety. But the magic really happens in step 5, the snap. That's where the higher dimensional pattern gets projected into our reality. It's the shadow being cast on the wall. And finally, the whole system nests these patterns inside each other, creating layer upon layer of complexity. All right, so we've gone way out into the cosmos with looms and fibers and shadows. Let's bring it all the way back home. What on earth does any of this mean for you and for me? This is where it gets really personal. There's this quote from the source material that just nails it, that captures the entire idea so beautifully. What we call reality isn't the real thing. It's a shadow play, cast by a much deeper, sentient process onto the screen of what we call time.
And if that's true, think about what that means. You aren't just a bag of chemicals sitting at a point in space. You are a unique, incredibly complex, and stable pattern. You're a resonant twist in the very fabric of reality. Your consciousness isn't something your brain makes. It's a fundamental knot in the loom of the universe itself.
And that really leaves us with one final, mind-bending question to chew on. If we aren't just passive observers, but are actual, active patterns woven into this cosmic loom, then what kind of reality are we helping to create? With every thought, with every action, what pattern are you weaving? That's a thought that completely reframes our place in the cosmos.